Imagine waking up, opening your phone, and seeing a headline that changes everything. Conflict has broken out, 7,000 miles away, in a place most people couldn't find on a map. You might think that's terrible, but it doesn't affect me. But then you open your brokerage app. You look at your 401k, the retirement fund you've spent years, maybe decades, building. And for the first time in a long time, the number is deep in the red. It's not just a dip, it's a vertical drop. Suddenly, that war doesn't feel so far away anymore. Because while the soldiers are fighting on the ground, your future is being fought over in the markets. The question isn't just, is there a war? The question is your lives' work safe? Most people believe the stock market is a reflection of the economy. But that's a lie. The market isn't a reflection of reality. It's a reflection of human emotion. And right now, the most powerful emotion on Wall Street is panic. Why does a conflict with Iran send a shockwave through an office building in Chicago or a suburban home in Dallas? It's because of uncertainty. The market can handle bad news. If a company fails, we know why. If interest rates go up, we can calculate the cost. But war? War is the ultimate unknown. When tensions rise, the smart money, the billionaires and hedge funds, they don't wait to see what happens. They move, they sell, they pull back into safe havens. And who is left holding the bag? It's the middle class. It's you. While the elite are hedging their bets, the average 401k is anchored to the very companies that are most vulnerable to global instability. Think about it. If oil prices double because of a blocked shipping lane, what happens to the shipping companies? The airlines? The tech giants that rely on global energy? They bleed. And if they bleed, your retirement fund bleeds with them. Before we go deeper into how to actually protect your assets, I want to ask you a serious question. If the market dropped 30% tomorrow, could you stay calm? Or would you feel that urge to sell everything and run? Be honest, because your answer determines whether you'll survive this shift or lose it all. If you want to understand the logic behind the numbers and how to navigate these invisible traps, make sure you're subscribed to Sam Finance. We don't chase the hype, we track the truth. Join the community now so you don't get left behind when the cycle resets. Here is where things get interesting. Most people think defensive stocks are the answer. They buy into weapons manufacturers or gold, thinking they've found a shortcut. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Most people reach this point of security, and then they lose it. Not because they chose the wrong stock, but because they don't recognize the time trap. War creates a temporary reality. It's a bubble of high energy and high fear. And if you make permanent decisions based on a temporary war, you might be setting yourself up for a lifetime of regret. Have you ever noticed that the biggest market gains in history often happen right after the darkest days of a conflict? The danger isn't the war itself. The danger is your reaction to it. Wall Street thrives on your fear. They need you to sell low so they can buy your shares at a discount. They want you to think your 401k is a sinking ship so they can take over the helm. So I have to ask, are you a builder or are you a reactor? Escaping a market crash isn't about having a magic stock pick. It's about a shift, a subtle, almost invisible transition in how you see your wealth. When you see the red numbers, you stop looking at money as something that's disappearing. And you start seeing it as an opportunity you can actually direct. Before this point, every financial decision you make during a crisis is reactive. You sell because you have to. You worry because everyone else is worrying. You make choices based on the news cycle, not a strategy. But once you've experienced even a small amount of financial breathing room, your perspective changes. You begin to pause, to think, to question whether the headlines are moving you forward or quietly pulling you back into the panic loop. Because for the first time, you're not asking, how much am I losing today? You're asking, what will this look like in 5 years? And that single shift changes everything. At this stage, your biggest enemy isn't a war in the Middle East. It's your own need for comfort. That voice that tells you it's okay to give up on your long-term plan because the world feels unstable right now. But the people who actually move forward, they don't just hold on. They think differently about what they already have. They understand that progress isn't about speed. It's about direction. They treat their 401k like something valuable, something that needs to be protected from their own emotions. So let me ask you, what happens next for you? When the next headline hits, will you protect the progress you've made? Or will you slowly give it back to the market? Because in the end, it was never just about the stocks. It was about becoming the kind of person who doesn't lose control once the world does.